Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Nepali nationals struggling to escape Russian security forces as government efforts fail to produce results. Those managing to return share their plight of tragic circumstances. More than 3,500 government officials visit abroad in a single year in the name of training, responsibilities assigned without considering expertise in the health sector. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife jailed for 40 years in graft case in charge of illegally selling state gifts. Comes as a third conviction for the legendary cricketer in the last few months. And Nepal suffer a 5-wicket defeat to Bangladesh in the first match of the Super Sixes at the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup to take on India on Friday. 13 Nepali nationals recruited in the Russian security forces have already died in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. The government has no data on the exact number of Nepali nationals representing Russian army, while Russia has not issued any information about the same. Despite several diplomatic efforts of the government for the return of Nepali nationals recruited in the Russian army, such efforts have yet to produce any results. However, the fact that Russia has been deploying Nepali nationals in the front line against Ukraine in the ongoing conflict has already been proven. Russia has also not allowed the Nepali nationals to return home. However, a few Nepalese have begun returning after escaping from the Russian army. 31-year-old Dipendra Thapamagar of Jajarkot has returned after managing to escape. He was recruited in the Russian army last year. According to Dipendra, he had paid 800,000 rupees to a fixer and had reached Russia through Dubai on a visit visa. Dipendra, who had quit his job in Nepal army, was arrested by Ukrainian security forces during the war but managed to escape after 2 months and 15 days. Based on his experience, Dipendra suggests nobody to visit Russia in present circumstances. He has also urged the government to address the issues of other Nepali nationals stranded in Russian security forces or held by Ukraine. Now, our colleague Bikash Acharya had a conversation with Dipendra Magar, who escaped the Russian-Ukraine war to return home. Here is how he remembers his journey to and from the battlefield.
I tried going to Poland for work but could not. I even tried to go to Malaysia because I had no option. I waited for up to 9 months for Malaysian visa, which I did not get. That left me with the only alternative, which was Russia, because I knew how to handle guns anyway, so I thought at least going to Russia would be better than doing nothing. Their salary also seemed average. I applied for a visit visa. I reached Moscow through Dubai as transit. The Moscow immigration sent many like me back home, but somehow I made it through. I think it was meant to be. Me and a friend of mine stayed at a hotel the first night. The next morning, we went to the army barrack. An officer took our passport and asked us where we were from. After knowing that we were from Nepal, he made us sign some documents, and then we were recruited in the Russian army a few hours later. A bus then took us to a place called Yemengard. There are no academic qualifications as such required to be recruited in the army. A school-level education is enough. As for age, they usually say 18 to 45 years is required, but I know there were men as old as 55, so anyone who is healthy was good enough to be recruited, even if they were 60 years old. As for medical requirement, they conducted a chest x-ray and drew our blood. That's it, nothing else. When we were in the battlefield, we would fight for all day, and then when it got dark, we got lost. We do not know how to return or where to return. Many will have already died by the time we think of returning. When we lose sense of direction, we can end up on the Ukrainian side, and that's when they take us as hostage. I had given up on my life. I felt like there was no returning. I thought it was only a matter of time before I died. That's also why I was active on social media platforms like TikTok. It was to avoid going into depression. The war was so terrifying that I have no words to explain how it felt. No words would justify the emotion. Imagine being thrown hundreds of stones at you, drones are dropping bombs on you. When we fought, it wouldn't take even an hour for a green forest to completely turn black. It is not a joke. They have bombs and tankers that can completely destroy infrastructures. Imagine what happens to people. Over half a dozen Nepalese have died in the war. I'm sure you have not even seen their bodies, but there are so many other deaths that we do not know of. We have no record of who is dead or where. I still cannot believe I'm in Nepal. It still takes me time to process the whole experience, so I cannot give any suggestion about how to repatriate all those who are still there. I can only share the experience of how I returned. There are a few agencies in Ukraine like Indian Agency. I hear there's also a Nepali agency. Those who are looking for an option can contact them. Luck can also play a part. If we can somehow cross the immigration and reach Russia, which in itself is a difficult task, we can return Nepal. Luck plays a part.
More than 3,500 Nepali government officials visit abroad for conferences, summits, trainings and workshops each year. However, the transfer after their return to Nepal does not allow them to use their learnings, while the government has no criteria to measure the impact of such visits. With no positive impact of such foreign visits and trainings seen in service delivery, the state coffers have been depleted with no notable achievement. Rudra Singh Tamang of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority had reached the United States of America and Vietnam for training on disaster risk reduction. He spent almost 15 days in the two countries on expenses funded by the government. However, not even a month had gone by since his Nepal return when he was transferred to the Department of Immigration. His learnings received abroad therefore did not come to use. More than 3,500 government staff visit abroad each year for trainings, conferences, summits and workshops. However, the nation does not benefit from their learnings. Despite being trained on a particular sector, they are transferred to other departments following their return. In such a situation, the government does not have a mechanism to measure the impact of their knowledge, skills and abilities. According to the data of the Department of Immigration, a total of 3,570 government staff visited abroad from 1st of January 2023 to 31st of December, with most of them reaching Australia, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Japan, France and South Korea, among other nations. Assigning tasks of a different sector to individuals with expertise in a completely different subject may result in performance below expectations. Such practice is currently prevalent in Nepal's health sector. Experts have begun sharing their concerns regarding the negative impact of such a practice in the overall health sector of the country. Shukraraj Tropical and Infectious Disease Hospital specializes in communicable diseases. The institute had a significant role during the coronavirus pandemic and treatment of patients with dengue. However, the government has appointed pediatrician Yuanidhi Basiola as the director of the hospital. The Epidemiology and Disease Control Division of the Department of Health Services shouldered the responsibility of curbing the risks of infectious diseases. However, this entity is being led by orthopedic doctor Rudra Marasini. The government has assigned the responsibility of ensuring basic health services and making required arrangements at hospitals to infectious disease specialist Anup Bastola. The department assigned with the responsibility of procurement and management has been assigned to orthopedic doctor Shravan Kumar Thapa. And these are just a few representative cases. Doctors leading such departments are considered experts of their own respective fields. However, analysts have said that the government has not considered the job fit factor while assigning them responsibilities not matching with their expertise. Such appointments are likely to raise questions on the standards of their performance and may create negative impacts on the overall health service system. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we asked you what kind of corruption is prevalent in Nepal. 61% voted for option A, policy-level corruption, 21% for B, financial corruption, and 18% for C, abuse of authority. And here's today's question. What do you term deploying specialist doctors to hospitals beyond their specialization? Your options are A, conspiracies in transfer, B, doctors seeking benefit, and C, poor leadership. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Victims of loan sharks have begun their march for justice from east and west together. The team, which had left from Kakarbhita in the east, has reached Urlabari of Morang, while the team beginning from Gadda Chowki in the west had reached Chaumala of Kailali. The victims have said that their past agitations did not ensure them the justice they had demanded and had compelled them to stage another round of protest. They have said that they will not return home until justice is served. Addressing the previous agitation of the victims of loan sharks, the government had directed the district administration offices to register their complaints. Despite the administration doing so, the victims have yet to be served justice. The long-distance march on foot and the ill-managed stay during prime chilly winter is concerning. Victims having to protest time and again, despite being assured of justice, certainly raises several questions against the systems of the country. And in this context, in our Public Voice segment, today we've asked people in several provinces what they think of victims of loan sharks taking an arduous journey to the capital in search of justice. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
सरकारले चाहेमा चाहिँ उनीहरुको समस्या समाधान सम्बन्धित जिल्लामै हुन सक्छ।
चाँडै भन्दा चाँडै यो मिटर ब्याजीको समस्याको समाधान सरकारले गर्नुपर्छ।
आफैले निर्णय गर्ने, आन्दोलन स्थगित गराउने अनि फेरि ती गरिब जनतालाई काठमाडौँ बोलाउने फेरि मधेसबाट तराईबाट यो अति भयो।
सरकारले समाधान गर्नु पर्यो त्यसको लागि।
घरबार विहीन हुने अवस्था छ। त्यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि यो समस्या छिटो भन्दा छिटो सरकारले यो समस्या समाधान गर्नतर्फ आफ्ना कामहरु अगाडि बढाउनु पर्छ।
आफ्नो धनमाल बर्बाद पनि गरियो, कति त झुन्डेर मरेन। यो मिटर ब्याजलाई छिटो भन्दा छिटो सरकारले सुनेर यो समस्या सब गर्नु पर्यो।
केही उपाय नलाएपछि चाहिँ उनीहरुलाई आइपरेको बाध्यता हो यो।
मिटर ब्याजीका नाममा होस् या अन्य नाममा यसरी हिँडेर जानु भनेको यो अवस्थामा त्यति राम्रो सन्देश जाला जस्तो लाग्दैन। त्यसकारणले त्यो विषयमा धेरै भन्दा धेरै सरकारले नै सोच्नु पर्छ।
आफ्नो श्री सम्पत्ति सबै सकेर पनि कहिले उनीहरुको ऋण तिरिन सक्ने अवस्था छ। यो चाहिँ एकदमै मारमा परेको हुनाले नेपाल सरकारले यसलाई तुरुन्तै कसरी के गरी हुन्छ यसको समस्या समाधान गरिदिनु पर्छ।
राम्रो गराइदिनु पर्यो नि अब जनताहरुलाई।
अन्याय न्याय के हो यो राष्ट्रले हेर्नुपर्छ।
Now, winter session of the Federal Parliament is set to begin from the 5th of February. However, the agenda for the session remain uncertain as of yet. The government is yet to conclude on the bills to be taken forward in the session, while it has not held talks with political parties regarding the same. With parties prioritizing their own interests, the upcoming session is also likely to be affected. The Federal Parliament has been held hostage by political parties in the past few years, as works related to formulation of laws have remained stranded. Despite the next session of the Parliament drawing close, the government has yet to hold discussions with the Speaker and the National Assembly chairperson. In addition to the officials, the government has also not held discussions with political parties, including the main opposition. The government should have held talks with all parties to ensure the efficient performance of the Parliament and to facilitate formulation of laws. Despite awaiting political consensus on a few bills, the parties appear to be growing distant. Other than this, the trend of bargaining on the basis of bills by political parties to resolve issues with the objective of serving their interests is even dangerous. This has left several significant bills stranded at the Parliament. In such a situation, the Parliament Secretariat is concerned about the absence of bills to be presented in the upcoming session. The government has not registered a single bill at the Parliament in the past 3 months. However, the Prime Minister to Minister for Law never miss out on promising efficient performance of the Parliament in each of their speeches. At a time when the calendar of the Parliament is drawing attention, no progress has been seen. While the government is lacking seriousness towards sound operation of the Parliament, the main opposition has been shying away from its responsibilities by alleging the government of not being concerned. And time now for international update. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi have been jailed for 14 years. The second sentence handed to Pakistan's former Prime Minister in 2 days. Commonly known as Bushra Bibi, she is Khan's third wife and has a reputation of being a spiritual leader. Little is known about her personal life, and she is usually seen in public wearing a niqab face veil. The sentencing by an anti-graft court in Islamabad comes a day after Imran Khan was handed a 10-year jail term in another case in which he was convicted of revealing state secrets, and a week before the national elections. Imran Khan was also handed a 3-year prison sentence in August by another court, which was later suspended for selling gifts worth more than $500,000 in state possession and received during his 2018-22 premiership. The former cricketer has said that he legally purchased the items.
Sports news.
Nepal suffered a 5-wicket defeat to Bangladesh in the Super Sixes stage of the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup underway in South Africa. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.